Good morning and welcome to the vicarage. From Saturday morning until Thursday evening, I'm wearing this and working hard, ministering in this parish and trying to keep my family alive. But I invite you to join me on my day off as I get stuff done around and outside the vicarage and reflect back on the week that I've just had. And so my project this week on our day off is about first impressions. It's about this little bed, this little circle here, which I'm going to focus on getting done today, so that as people walk up my driveway, they don't just see a mass of nettles and weeds. This pink flower looks absolutely beautiful, but in fact it smells disgusting, and so that's going to go. So I start by cutting it off. Got rid of some of the nettles because they did sting me. I'm just trying to get rid of all these nettles off and out. I'm terrible at getting stung by nettles, and as you can see, stupidly I'm wearing a short sleeve t-shirt, so my arms and hands are starting to tingle a little bit. I've got a bucket. My church warden recommended that if I put the nettles and cut them up in the bucket and added water, that's really good for plants when it rots down. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm putting the nettles in a bucket. Then all the other stuff I'm putting in our green bin to go for our garden recycling. And so I just keep cutting away at this circle. I think this circle actually hasn't been, I don't think I've done anything to it for about 2 years, pre-COVID. Last year was a crazy busy year where I didn't really have much time to think about anything other than homeschooling and ministry in this parish, so it's kind of nice to actually calm down a little bit and know that I can get some of the work done in this bed. There's so much grass that's overgrown into it that I'm just digging that up. I wonder how you feel about those things that you leave and leave. I just kept looking at this circle and kept thinking, gosh, it really needs to be done. It's so important, isn't it? The first impression that you give to people. And this doesn't give a very good first impression, but as I say to my congregation, I'm growing my children at the moment, and so can't quite concentrate on growing the garden. But as you can see, slowly clearing it all away. Once I'd pulled the grass out of that section, there was hardly anything underneath it, and so I'm cutting back. Now this, I think, is called a salvia. You may well be able to tell me what it is. But I'm cutting it back. It's suggested online that you should probably cut it back in spring because it could get affected by the frost. But I figure it's grown like mad, and so if I cut it back now, get the ivy and the nettles from underneath it, then it will grow again in the summer. This is the probably only spot in the vicarage garden that gets full sun. We have some very mature trees, as you can see in the background, and so this is the only circle that's not really in shade at any point. So it grows really well, so I'm hoping it will grow back really well next year. So I'm digging up, and I've decided it used to be a rockery, I think there's different levels and rocks in the middle. So I decided to use the rocks around the edge to kind of section it off from the grass and to try and inhibit the grass from growing into it in future. So there we are, cutting it back. So as you watch me cut away at this circle, quite therapeutic really watching it, isn't it? It's good to sometimes just have time to stop. I find videos like this really good to watch, just to have time where my brain can just relax a little bit and process all that's taken place this week. I wonder what your week's been like this week. It's been a busy week here at the parish. We've had lots of meetings, had our first face-to-face meeting in the diocese for the first time in ages, which was really nice to see other clergy. It's a strange job being a vicar. You work a lot on your own to the day-to-day, so it's nice to see other vicars and hear what they're up to and see how they're doing. Just digging away to try and fit this massive rock in my circle. It's not too high up. It works okay. I might need to go back and readdress those at some point in the future. Now I'm cutting the lavender off. Now I'm going to make lavender bags. My grandma died when I was 8, but I remember making lavender bags with her before, but I'm just cutting all the lavender back as well. I know that you're meant to cut lavender back quite harshly, and then it works really well, so that's what I'm busy doing, getting all the nettles and stuff out from under the lavender as well. Slowly getting there. Also this week I've joined the Secret Slob. I don't know if you watch the Secret Slob on YouTube, but she's fantastic. I follow the Fly Lady system after her influence, and we've been starting. So after I've recorded this video for you, I need to move on and do the next thing, day 4 of a 21 days to a clean house. So that's my plans for later this afternoon and this evening. Try and follow the Fly Lady system. I find it helps me just to keep on top of some of the vicarage messiness in the vicarage, just to keep it all under control. For the young family, stuff is always everywhere, I find. So here I am just cutting back the last little bits of the lavender. Absolutely beautiful having lavender in your front border. It means when I get back from work every day, back from being out, I get to smell lavender, and it really does helps me with my anxiety, helps me just to relax a little bit and to breathe. Just tidying up the last of this plant here. And I've got my fork, decided to dig it and just get it ready to put some little pansies in to prepare the ground for the pansies. Then I do the last few little bits. I'm going to add a little bit of colour. I love the colour purple, and I think the colour yellow looks quite good too. So I've just got some yellow and purple pansies to go in to give us a bit of brightness as we go into autumn. So I'm just planting those into the bed just to add a pop of colour. Don't know how they'll fare, but we can hope, can't we? Hope's so important. I also decided to get a bit carried away and do a little bit of trimming on there to divide the driveway to the garden. We need to do that a bit all the way down, but I'll do that probably another time, another Friday. And these little scraps of salvia, there were some purple flowers left, and so as you can see, I added them into a vase for others to enjoy. And just my last few jobs, sweeping up my mess. I decided to go and get some grass seed. Had a bit of grass seed, probably not the time to be doing grass seed, but I've got it, so might as well try it. And I also put some slug repellent down. There are some beautiful slugs in this garden, and I wanted to protect the pansies. And so I've had some lunch, and my afternoon task before picking my children up from school is to make a lavender bag with the lavender. I remember sitting in my grandma's garden and making a lavender bag with her, but I haven't made a lavender bag since. But I've just googled, and it says put lavender, 2 parts lavender to 1 part rice. So the bits of lavender that I cut back this morning, I've put in with some rice, and then I'm going to make a lavender bag. Very simple lavender bag to be made. I inherited a lot of material from my mum, and also some pinking shears, which I did break. It was my fault they're broken. So I used my mum's pinking shears and material as I make my lavender bag. I thought this would be a pretty bit of material to use. In a few weeks' time, I'll probably share with you. I'm working on our wardrobe at the moment, my husband and my wardrobe. So I'll share with you the design that I've done for that. But until then, I can hang these up. I've done my wardrobe so far, but we're getting there. So I'm cutting out a piece of material. How big do I want the lavender bag to be? Is that a little bit big? I think it probably is. I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm afraid I'm very, old-fashioned really. I can't sew with a sewing machine. It'd be quite time-consuming. It'd probably be very quick to make a lavender bag without. I did get one, and I tried to use it, but it never seemed to work for me. So I always find it easier just to sew by hand. And so I just chain stitch as we go around the lavender bag, just stitching all the way around the bag. Look a little bit like a sewing machine, don't I? But there we go. Stitching up the bag, finishing it off, then turning it inside out. And now I'm filling it with lavender. Finding a bow to put on it. And there we have it, my lavender bag. do hope you've enjoyed being with me at the vicarage this week, and I pray that you have a fantastic week ahead, and see you next Friday for my next day off.